Hello and welcome to a very long overdue video. I haven't made a video talking about the things that I've read and watched, I think since March. There's a lot to talk about. So much so that I tried to film this video once before and I was filming for over 2 hours just talking and I was like, you know what, nobody's gonna watch a 2-hour long video. So I'm splitting things up. I'm gonna do books, movies, and TV in separate videos, and then I just think it'll be more organized that way. So yeah, today we're going to be talking about books. Before I start, I do kind of want to showcase a little bit. I got this idea that I want to display a new plant every single video that I make. Today, I wanted to show off my newest little babe. Her name is Princess Cordelia. She's just so pretty. Okay, let's get into it. The first book I read since we last spoke was Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. I filmed a review for this. I can't find the footage anywhere, so yeah, I'm gonna look for the footage, and if I can't find it, then I guess this will be my review video for Crooked Kingdom. This is the second book in the Six of Crows duology. I have actual reviews for all the other Leigh Bardugo books, but whatever, it's fine. As I was saying, if you don't know what Six of Crows is about, it takes place in a fantasy world, the same world as the Shadow and Bone trilogy, or the Shadow and Bone Netflix series. It is about 6 misfits who band together to pull off this heist. That's the first book, and then in the second book they kind of have to deal with the repercussions of what happened in the first book. So what I really liked about this book, and I guess what I really like about the Six of Crows duology, is that it's a lot slower than the Shadow and Bone trilogy, and it focuses a lot more on the characters. Really, this book and the first one, really they're about the characters. And I think most people who love this series agree that what they love about it most is the characters. I really feel like they're just so likable. They all have issues and they're all dealing with their things, but in such a real, well-written way. And definitely in this book, the character's story arc sort of come to fruition, or they get deepened out more. We really dig deep into some of their backstories and we get to know them a lot better and we watch them grow, and I really feel like Leigh Bardugo did a great job with that. I remember what I didn't really like about this one was how sort of unnecessarily complicated it was at times. Same thing as the first one. It's a lot about scheming and pulling off little stunts and stuff, and people are misleading each other and all that kind of stuff. And I felt like in this book, sometimes there was a little too much going on, and I sometimes got confused. There were also a lot of side tracks, side storylines, I don't know the official word, that confused me as well. This book, there is a sort of new type of enemy that even now, having finished the book, I don't really understand. If you've read the book, maybe you know what I'm talking about. What was that all about? Please leave it down in the comments if you know. I still really liked it because I care about these characters so much. I love them. They're very, very, very close to my heart, and I really liked how it ended for each character individually. I thought it was really beautifully done. But I had those kind of slight issues with it. The next book I read was a book that I've already made a video for, so I'm not going to talk about it too long. It's called Capsule. It's by Mel Torrefranca. It is a YA contemporary with sci-fi elements. This one has such a cool concept that I feel like a lot of people would be very interested to read. It's about this girl who, doesn't have any friends at school. She's quite a loner. One day in school, 2 people of her school go missing, and on that same day, a mysterious app downloads itself onto her phone, and the app tells her that she is the only person who can save these 2 people that have gone missing. And I just think that's a really cool concept, because it's one of those things you can imagine this happening. Suddenly there's this app on your phone that was never there before and you can't seem to delete it. That seems like a thing that might happen, and then this app is telling you those 2 people that went missing, you're the one that can save them. If it sounds interesting, please pick it up. It's great. It just came out. But if you want to know more about my opinion about this book, I suggest you watch my review of it. I'll put it somewhere. The next book I read after that was An Absolutely Remarkable Thing by Hank Green. I am so mad at myself for not reading this book sooner. I've been a fan of Hank and, the Vlogbrothers since a very long time. I can't remember a time when I was not watching the Vlogbrothers, and I've always really admired Hank and the way he looks at the world. Their videos on YouTube, in a way, are storytelling as well. And I really think that his storytelling is very beautiful. And so it only makes sense that I would think his novel is beautiful as well. This is one of the most touching books I've read in a very long time. And from the premise, you wouldn't think that that would be the case. So an absolutely remarkable thing is I would say like a YA contemporary with sci-fi elements. It's about a girl who one night discovers a giant sculpture that kind of looks like a robot in the middle of the sidewalk in New York City. She stumbles upon it and she's like, wow, that's weird. So she calls up her friend and they make a little short video showcasing this weird thing that they found and put it online. And the next day, it turns out that their video went completely viral all over the world. I think it was about 50 of these sculptures were discovered. They all appeared at the same time. Nobody knows who made them, why they're here. Basically, the entire world is kind of like, what the heck is going on? Because she was sort of the first person to discover them, she becomes sort of like a head figure. She has the opportunity to sort of speak for these things. Her life completely changes because of that. And if the premise of this book doesn't necessarily speak to you, I would say don't mind it. Just read the book anyway. Listen, I think this book, I'm so bad at talking about things. Actually, I've only just been talking about an absolutely remarkable thing. I've also read the sequel, A Beautifully Foolish Endeavor. What I'm saying here counts for both of these books. Like, they're a duology, they fit together, they're just really well written, they're beautiful. I love these books because they talk about humanity in such a real way. It shows the scary sides of humanity, the way humans can band together to do terrible things, but also to do amazing things. It talks about that connectedness that humans have. It talks about how we want to live and we want to live beautifully. It also makes me realize how lucky we are to be alive, how the fact that we are here is incredible. That's a remarkable thing in its own. Human life is an absolutely remarkable thing. The fact that out of the entire universe, this happened, like life on Earth happened and we have evolved into what we are now, like the chances of that are astronomical. Like, it's wild to think about. Like the fact that we are here and alive is insane, and the fact that we have evolved into creatures of such high empathy and togetherness, and like how we collaborate with one another as a species is crazy, and that is such a beautiful thing, and that is such a nice message to have, especially in the year 2021. I feel like a lot of people are very cynical when it comes to life and humanity and society. This book reminds me of how amazing we are and how beautiful we are, and how we should really take a step back and realize how lucky we are to even be here. And I don't know, I just thought it was really good. I hope that made sense. Yeah, if any of that resonated with you, you just please read these books. I also must say, the main character in this duology is like the least likable character I've read about in a while. And I like characters that aren't perfect, but I have to say, like, there were times when I was like genuinely mad at her. Like, I was so angry. But I think that ultimately that made her like more like realistic person, as it's a good thing. I don't know, I got really mad at her. I think that's the only negative thing I can say about this duology, is that our main character, the girl who discovers the Carls, And then the last book I want to talk about is one that I'm just going to mention quite briefly because I haven't finished it yet. I'm like halfway through it. I feel the need to talk about it because I'm really into it, okay? It is The Secret Garden. Look, first of all, look at the cover. Can we, wow. It's probably one of the most beautiful books I own. Where you tend a rose, a thistle cannot grow. I have been wanting to read this for a long time because when I was a kid, I was obsessed with the movie. I watched that movie so many times, but I haven't watched it since I was a kid. So when I picked this up, I kind of didn't remember what the story was about. All I remembered was that it took place in like a big house, and there was a secret garden, and yep, and there was children playing in the garden, I think. It's about an English girl who grew up in India until she was like 10 years old. I'm pretty sure her family was really well off because she had like servants and everything, and like she was basically tended to and treated as a princess. Not a very nice girl. But then when she's 10 years old, both her parents die and she is sent back to England to live with her uncle in a big house with these big gardens. And at first, she is just not about it. She is not happy to be there. She's encouraged to go outside by herself and play, and she kind of slowly starts to fall in love with nature. I love that. One of the garden caretakers tells her this story that there is a secret garden somewhere on the grounds and nobody knows where it is. And Mary is really intrigued, and so she starts looking for the secret garden. And just things evolve from there. And the story is mostly about Mary and how she sort of blossoms, if you will, into just a beautiful little human. I'm only like halfway through, but I can't help but describe it this way. This is the perfect book for me. If I wanted the perfect book, I would describe this exactly. The writing style in this is exactly what I like. It makes my heart flutter with nearly every sentence. I love the themes in this. I love all the nature. I love all the characters. Like it's just, oh, I really wish I'd read this sooner. But of course, I'm only halfway, so I'm not gonna talk about it for too much longer. I'll probably talk about this properly in the next wrap up, I guess. Hopefully I won't wait as long for the next one. But yeah, I just wanted to mention The Secret Garden because I've just been completely obsessed. Those are all the books that I've been reading since March. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm going to be making 2 more, one with TV and one with movies, and I will see you in the next video, perhaps. Goodbye.